You see Edward Scissorhands Ziz all over the place to this day. What can you say about that character's look and what inspired it?
I think that the look of Edward Scissorhands was an old, sort of, Tim has these drawers of people. Edward Scissorhands was really his vision and his character from when he was in art school. We got Johnny at a very young age and made the costume, and it was before the costume. We only made 2 Edward Scissorhands costumes, and we shot in South Florida, which was really hot. And there were so many things about the costume in compiling it out of all these old pieces of leather that were really tricky, and it was really hard to find somebody that understood what I wanted. And I finally found this tailor who had done work for the ballet, and he knew how to get what I wanted with the super skinny legs and keeping everything not, because you're using a bulky material, like how to actually construct the costume, which was a huge win for me at that point in history, before all the stretches were in place that they are today.
You reteamed with Jonathan Demme for his Oscar-winning contemporary classic, The Silence of the Lambs. I think from what I understand, one of the biggest decisions you had to make there centered around Hannibal Lecter's mask, right? What can you say about that?
I have the drawing of it. It's so basic. It's just like looks like a pencil drawing with the eyes and the mouth, or the nose and the mouth, the nostrils with the rods in the mouth. And we sent it off to this guy to make it, who manufactured hockey masks in New Jersey, because we were working out of New York. And I got the first prototype of the mask. Originally, the mask was going to be a color or something, or chipped off paint. And I got the first prototype of the mask back, which was the raw kind of fiberglass of it that looked like dried skin. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. We don't have to do anything.
You won your first Academy Award for the screen adaptation of the famed musical Chicago, which of course took us back to the Roaring '20s. What excited you about dipping into such a precise, famed time in American history, and sort of the looks that it would present?
Well, the idea was a twofold excitement. The excitement of being able to do a musical with all that dance set against the background of the gritty '20s of Chicago and sort of the great depressed sort of side of America. So as a designer, you're creating a universe of an idea of what's beautiful, and a universe of what's really going on that's gritty and poor and seedy. So it was a huge job for me. The dancers were amazing. They danced 12 hours a day, like without stopping. And we shot that movie very quickly. Just to be part of it was so exciting,
And then you entered the wizarding world with 2016's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. How much did you study the original Potter movies in crafting looks for the prequel?
I had seen the early Potter films with my daughter, who was that age that embraced the wizarding world. But I didn't lean into it as a designer moving forward. I was setting it in a different world, in a different place. And even though some of the characters, like Dumbledore went back to Dumbledore, I sort of used the palette of Dumbledore in a nod to Dumbledore. But per se, I didn't really lean into it, because our whole idea was that this was, a separate world, a separate thing, and we really wanted to not sort of do that with those films.
Have you ever dressed up as one of your own characters? Or is that like a costume designer faux pas?
I don't know if it's a faux pas, but you know what? I don't like to dress up. I like to dress other people, and I like clothes, but I don't do cosplay on myself.